So let us invite ourselves to the peace, the inner tranquility. Sort of to sink into our true nature, to okay, the volume is fine, yes, it is. So be knowingly the awareness, the transparent awareness, which you are. That which perceives. Allow your experience to be just as it is, without interfering. Give yourself the time it takes to settle in your true nature. You can sense it. It's an open, allowing, non-discriminative allowing. That is effortless. The inner silence, which appears as hearing these words, without being disturbed by the hearing. Whatever image appears, it is of no consequence. Like a mirror reflects whatever appears to it, without being affected by the image that it reflects. Similarly, you, this infinite, invisible, transparent reality of consciousness, awareness. You are undisturbed and undisturbable, as that which you truly are, which is not what you imagine yourself to be. As consciousness, as awareness, you are not located within anything that you imagine, perceive, experience. Images and thoughts and sensations, they appear to you like the sunshine appears to you, like the sound of the birds appear to you. A thought may attempt to lure you into believing that the thought knows anything about you. It attempts to refer to you as an object, as a man, as a woman, son, a daughter. The thought may refer to you as atoms and molecules and flesh and bones. As somebody who's born thought attempts to confuse you, making you believe you are a body, you're dependent on the body. It creates a body, a thought body, a virtual body. A collection of images and sensations, which it refers to as yourself. So in time you increasingly believe and feel that you are a catalog of images and thoughts and feelings and sensations. A storyline in a novel which is called myself, my life. And then your life becomes a script, a series of chapters. And you overlook the screen, you overlook the page upon which the script is written. While all along, like in this very moment, you are this transparent, borderless awareness, aren't you? Take a look. Are you that which appears, or the reality which perceives? Formless, limitless. Recognize yourself. The still, silent presence. Reveals your true nature. The narrative that we may have been entertaining for so long. When it meets the silent presence of our true nature, it becomes silent. Okay, well, if you have any questions. Well, Isaac, I see your question or your comment here. How is the knowing that is not founded upon experience? What? I'm not sure I understand your question, Isaac. Hola, Isaac.
Well, you know, they say that consciousness is not an experience. Okay.
Who said that?
Well, many people among
No, consciousness is not a
it's not
phenomenon.
a
A phenomenal experience. Consciousness is not a phenomenal experience. Like, for example, hunger. Hunger is a phenomenal experience. The body is hungry. When you are tired, tiredness is a phenomenal experience. Winning the lottery, you win $1 million in the lottery, that's a phenomenal experience. But you don't experience consciousness as a phenomenal experience. So
you experience it.
yes, go ahead.
It's a different experience.
Yes. Right now, you are conscious, right? You're aware that you're aware that you are aware, yes? So obviously it is your experience. Awareness is your experience. Awareness is, I like to say, it's our primary experience. And it is our uninterrupted experience, Isaac. Like, you're not hungry all the time. You are not tired all the time. You don't win the lottery every day. Too bad. But awareness is not interrupted. So awareness is an experience, but it's not a phenomenal experience. Sometimes I use the word noumenal. It's a noumenal experience, meaning it is an experience, but it's not an experience via the mind. It's not an experience via thinking or via perceiving or via feeling or via remembering.
That's my. There is my question.
Yes,
How can you experience without all these inputs? Let's say.
yes. Well, right now you're aware, yes?
Yeah.
So you know you're aware, yes?
Yes.
Now my question is, do you know you are aware because you are perceiving this screen? Or do you know you're aware irrespective of perceiving the screen? What do you say?
Yeah. That's the point.
To
Well,
look at the question, take a look at the question
yes.
now. Am I aware because I'm speaking with Magdi? Am I aware because I'm speaking with Isaac? Or am I aware because I'm aware? How do I know that I'm aware? Do I know that I'm aware because I'm speaking with Magdi? Or do I know I am aware because I am aware?
Because I am.
Yes, I know I'm aware because I am aware. Because even when I'm not speaking with Magdi, I'm aware. Even when I'm not uh, having breakfast, I'm aware. So awareness, I'm aware when I'm having breakfast, I'm aware of the taste of the bananas and taste of the milk, taste of the cream, taste of the cherries. So I'm aware of the body, I'm aware of the world, I'm aware of the thought, but I'm also aware that I'm aware. There are two different experiences.
Okay.
One of them is,
We use the same word. That's why I was
yes,
like, misunderstood.
yeah, la conciencia. Yes, yes.
La
We use,
experiencia.
yeah, we use the same word for awareness in the presence of objects, in the presence of thoughts, in the presence of sensations. But also we use awareness when we refer to I'm aware. So I'm aware of that today is Sunday. which is different from I'm aware that I'm aware. So yes, one experience is the experience of awareness in the presence of objects.
Yeah.
And the other one is the experience of awareness in the absence of objects.
Mm.
It's very important for you to understand that.
Yeah. But we want to put it like in words, you want to understand it, like say, okay, now, but you want to, use your mind
Yes,
and understand that, that's the,
yes.
uh-huh.
When you ask yourself, Isaac, am I aware? And the answer comes, yes, I am aware. Of course, yes, I am aware.
Mm-hmm.
That question comes to you immediately. You don't have to check with your
Yeah.
memory or check with your feeling or check. You don't need to check with anything. Immediately see. You also like unconscious. Immediately,
Mm-hmm.
you are not going to the mind. You are not going to the world. You are not going to the body.
Mm-hmm.
It's awareness within itself, from itself and to itself, is aware that it's aware. Yes?
Yes.
And when we say I, it's different from when we are saying Isaac. Because Isaac is the name of the body, is the body.
Yeah.
Like your car, when you say Toyota, is the name of your car. A yellow Toyota or a red Toyota or a blue Toyota is a color, the name and the color of your car. If it's a V8 engine, you say, okay, it's a yellow or red Toyota V8, the year 2010 or whatever. This is the quality of your car.
Yeah.
The same your body is, born in 1960 as a male body and 5'8" tall. It's in the name Isaac. There are two models. There is a brother, for example.
So there are no other model like this.
Okay, only one.
Yeah.
The factory just produced one.
Just
So,
one.
when we say I, we are not saying the body. So there's a difference. The body is something that you manage, you take care of the body, you take care of the mind, you take care of uh, the house, you take care of the car, and you take care of the garden. That's not when we say I, that's not I.
Mm-hmm.
I, right now, I is the reality of consciousness, awareness. Because, for
Mm-hmm.
example, you say I am, right? In this
Yeah,
moment, I am.
I am.
So that doesn't refer to the body, if a male body, female body, tall body, short body, white body, black body, whatever. No, it's important not to confuse when you say I, what you are referring to. So right now, I'm speaking, I say, okay, it's Isaac, but I'm not speaking to the body.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to consciousness, consciousness to consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the understanding is not the body that understands, it is consciousness that understands.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't speak to the body, I speak to consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And the I that speaks is consciousness. So, consciousness is speaking to itself
Yeah.
and is speaking about consciousness, about itself.
Yes.
So it's important to understand that consciousness doesn't depend on the world, doesn't depend on the body. We don't, like when you open a walnut, inside you find the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You find the fruit. So you say the fruit is inside the walnut shell. And the tree, the oak tree, the oak tree, it grows from the acorn, because the acorn, you put it in the ground with water and it starts to make a sprout. It makes the oak
Mm-hmm.
tree.
Yeah.
You know that, but we have evidence. But there is no evidence that consciousness comes out of the body. We don't have any evidence of that. It's a belief.
Mm. Maybe we confuse it with being alive.
Yeah, well, yes, the body is uh, it's endowed with life. So life doesn't belong to the body. Because if life belonged to the body, then a dead body would be alive. If life belongs to a body, then there would be no possibility for a dead body, right?
Yeah.
So life doesn't belong to the body.
Mm.
Life belongs to life.
Mm.
Consciousness belongs to consciousness. It doesn't belong to the body.
Mm.
Because if consciousness depended on the body, then there would be no such thing as then consciousness would be born and would die
Right.
with the body,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot of people believe that.
Yeah.
But if you believe something, it does not mean it's true. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you believe that you are the most charming man in Costa Rica, you may believe that. I agree with you, but
It's a
but
secret.
still a belief,
Yeah.
So the fact that we have a belief does not mean it's true. It's reality. See? So we have to be double check. So we double check: is consciousness born? So we ask ourselves this question: is consciousness born?
Mm-hmm.
So we have no evidence. There's nobody has experienced the birth of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody,
Nor the death. Mm.
nor the death, claro.
Mm.
Nobody.
Mm.
So therefore, we cannot say that we cannot say that consciousness is born. We cannot say.
Mm-hmm. I see. Mm.
Richard is saying it's true. Isaac is the most charming man. It goes.
Ah, yeah. Ah,
you
that
have
was a secret.
you
That
have
was a secret.
yeah, the cat is out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag.
Thank you, Magdi. Mm.
Yeah, this is an important question, Isaac, because
Yeah.
the belief that consciousness depends on the body or depends on the world um, is a common belief. But when we look into it,
Yeah.
we ask ourselves, am I conscious? We realize, yes, I am conscious, but I am aware. But I don't, it's not because I'm feeling hunger or I'm feeling tired or I'm feeling the body. It's
Mm-hmm.
important to visit that, think about that. It's an important point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Because I've heard that the consciousness is not an experience. So that's why they
Um,
confuse me because, it's just a word, experience, but
yeah, you
is it
see,
an experience or it's not? No, it's like,
it's important to have a clarity about that.
yeah, because,
Yes.
somebody have said that maybe, I don't know, a guru or somebody that
Yeah. Double check.
important. I write it down, consciousness is not an experience.
No. Double check your experience. Double check. So yes, of course, it is an experience. I am conscious, but it's not a phenomenal experience. So make a distinction, Isaac, between
Noumenal, like you say.
yes, yes. Okay, then you know.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Isaac. Nice to see you. Yeah. Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hey, Richard.
Hey. One thing that our charming friend Isaac said really kind of resonated with me. And maybe you could speak to this a little bit. I've noticed that what I have a really hard time with is separating or kind of teasing out the difference between what I'm aware of and my awareness of it. You know, sometimes it can be easy. Like if I'm aware of a cup of coffee, I'm aware of the cup of coffee, and I don't confuse the cup of coffee with my awareness.
Yes.
But when it comes to thoughts and feelings and sensations, it's much harder for me to separate out the awareness from what I'm aware of. Does that make sense?
Yes, in fact, like in our experience, this moment, Richard, we don't separate, for example, our awareness from this conversation, from hearing. It's not possible to separate. At least, I'm open for conversation with you about it. But in my experience, it's not possible to separate anything from awareness. It's not possible to separate anything, so yes, I mean, we do have, for example, labels, this is a table, this is a chair, this is a car. So, and there's a functional purpose for the names and the forms, to say, okay, well, this is the door. So when I say exit, you're not going to exit through the window, you exit through the door. When I say, the bananas are on the counter in the kitchen. So yes, these terms, these classifications, they're functional in that they are concepts that are useful for the navigation of the body-mind, the world body-mind. So we navigate via perception, sensation, and conception. So perception is very easy. We have in-depth perception, we have perspective perception. We can sense that, this truck always is not, we see a truck, but we feel it's not dangerous because we can see the size it is, but we see that a truck that's big, it's coming, driving via the senses, we realize this is dangerous, so we step out of the way. So in our experience, we are sort of wired, the organism is wired via the senses, the perceptual fields, and the mental, we communicate, say, okay, Richard, be careful. I think that you forgot to turn off the gas, on the pasta in the kitchen. So these are words. I make sounds. I'm producing sounds, but these sounds, pasta, gas, kitchen, they're thoughts, they trigger a certain action that will make sure you don't burn the pasta. So, but in terms of separating any perception, sensation, or thought from consciousness or awareness, is not possible. It's like you cannot separate the wave from the water, you see. But you can recognize a wave. You say, oh, well, this is a big wave. Oh, this is a small wave. But you cannot separate it from the ocean.
I think, yes, absolutely. And I think one thing I didn't make very clear when I was sort of talking initially was what I'm trying to separate is my sense of identification with what I'm aware of. That's
Yes.
So like I don't confuse myself with the stove, or I don't confuse myself with
Yes.
The cat, but I
Yes.
do confuse my identity sometimes with
Oh, yes.
my thoughts and feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, I got you now. Yes, yes, yes. Now, identification at its root, before it sprouts within the seed, is I am somebody. I am somebody. And depending on your conditioning, this somebody has different form. It could be an oak tree, it could be a palm tree, it could be a banana tree, whatever, as a metaphor. So the I am somebody, the most statistically speaking, the candidate that wins this lottery is the body. That I am the body. I am this man. I am this person. I am Richard. I am a good son, a good daughter, whatever. So I am the body. And I am the body is, first, it's not visible. You start from a young age that I am this person, I am this boy, but it's not visible to you. But in time, the structure gets formed. It gets formed first, it starts with the feelings. I start to feel that I am me. It's a feeling. And this feeling is not like a particular feeling. It's not like a feeling of hunger, or feeling of a toothache, or feeling that you're upset because your brother broke your computer. Whatever. It's a more of a diffuse feeling, like a fog. How like a it's not particular. So the me feeling, and then with the me feeling, then there are images. It keeps varying. Images about myself, and beliefs about myself. That I am filling the blanks. So the identity, the sense of identity, is most often with a sense of me, an image of me, or a moving target, of a moving body of images of me. And in some cases, we have attachments to some objects. Like we may really love our Corvette, or we may really love our beautiful bag, or we may love our beautiful shoes, or we may love our position in the company, or we may love that we're so there are the sense of me, which is sort of diffuse, sort of kind of sweet. Then it grows, it sprouts in a variety of ways, certain identifications in your life. You may feel perfectly okay, all is well, until somebody breaks into your house. Then you realize, how identified you are with the house. Or somebody, well, I could understand you getting worked out if somebody breaks into your house, but let's say somebody gently bumps into your car. I'm not speaking about you, Richard, particularly, but generically. And we feel, how stupid you are, you bump into my car, blah, 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 blah. And the sense of identification, whichever way it manifests itself in your life, the cure for it is your inquiry into, am I this me? You know, you inquiry into the sense of me. Am I this sense of me? Am I this feeling? Am I this sense of me? Of course, the sense of me, it's hard to pin it down, but we may agree that it's a feeling, or it's something that appears to you. Maybe not all the time, but it appears to you.
Because I believe you mentioned this yesterday. You said this, that something you just practice, and over time the inquiry becomes a habit, and the habit makes you understand this distinction between who you are. So what I try to do, like I was trying to do it this morning, I was trying to, when I had a thought or a feeling, I was trying to be aware of the thought and the feeling. I was trying to say, well, I'm not this thought. I am the awareness of this thought.
Yes.
Is that sort of what you were recommending?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the feeling that arises to you is saying, you are good, you are bad, you are this, you are that, and it's seductive. It's sort of, it's like the hook. It has a little food on it. It's seductive. This food looks good, but when you bite that food, you got the hook. You get the hook. Yes, and the way to not to go for the hook is the remembrance that you are already, you are satiated. You don't have this is a false hunger. It's a false habit. It's a habit to go for the lure that I am this, I am that. Yes, so whenever you return, as a way of speaking, you return, or you recollect that you are awareness, that you are the reality that perceives. At that moment, there isn't a stopping. And if there isn't a stopping, then, quote unquote, practice stopping. Practice stopping there. I am the awareness.
The gap, the gap you talked about. Yes.
I am the awareness. I am the space. I am the presence. I am the gap, whichever, and to stop there. You need to stop there and just let it do its thing. Let it heal the habit. You see? Because if you say, okay, I am awareness, and then you sort of go to, well, oh yeah, I was really great. I'm really great, oh God, or I was really, no, it was really poor. I really, then you didn't stay long enough. You didn't stay long enough with I am awareness. You see, it's as if you slipped. It was like a banana peel. You lost your balance. Yes, and the more you come to I am this aware presence, this effortless, transparent presence, I am awareness, the more it blooms. And there may be some hiccups here and there, which we can discuss, which they do arise. One of the main hiccup is that I am this personal awareness. So, but if you look at your experience right now, yes, I am aware, obviously. Yes, there is awareness, obviously. What makes this awareness personal? Well, we say, oh, this awareness is personal because I'm perceiving my bed and I'm not perceiving Magdi's kitchen, whatever. You see. So we imagine that because the content of awareness changes from across place, across space, that therefore this awareness is personal. And so we need to take a look at that to realize that in fact awareness is not personal, it's universal. For example, an orange tree. An orange tree grows 500 oranges. One orange is on this branch way out there. One orange is on that branch way out there. One orange is on the other branch way out there. And some oranges have been ripe and they fell down to the ground. Others are still not ripe. You see. So the fact that these oranges are in different places, and some orange is orange, the other one is still green, orange, green, yellowish, and not at the same degree of ripefulness. It doesn't mean that there are separate consciousness. There are separate minds, yes, but it doesn't mean that there is separate consciousness. For example, in the ocean, there may be on this shore big waves, on this other shore no waves at all, you see. But the fact that there are big waves here and small waves there doesn't mean that these waves are not the ocean, they're not water. You could have the electric grid in the kitchen, the lights is on, in the bedroom, the lights is off. You walk into the kitchen, everything is bright. You walk into the bedroom, and the lights it's all dark. It doesn't mean that there is a different grid. There is a different electric grid in the bedroom, and a different electric grid in the kitchen. I'm getting a little off the topic, but just to mention that it's important to understand that consciousness, although there is personal mind, there is no personal consciousness.
Well, I mean, I know when you say it's off topic, I mean, it's not exactly what I asked, but you're right, it is a hiccup. And I mean, that's one of the first questions I ever asked you was about that, because it's something that the distinction between personal mind in universal awareness, I guess it's a hiccup, or something that I still deal with. But like my approach to that recently has been to not approach it and just not worry about that right now, because I don't think that's too abstract for where I am right now.
Okay.
But yeah, if I think about it, it does become like, yeah, that is something that confuses me.
Yes.
So because I can certainly, in my experience, I say certainly, so I can experience, so I'm aware of the distinction between my thoughts and awareness, and the distinction between like the personal thoughts and feelings and the awareness of them.
Yes.
So I do distinguish between awareness and thoughts, and awareness of thoughts, but so I'm working on that right now. But if I stop and take a look at awareness as universal awareness, that's something that I'm still not quite sure how to process that yet. If that makes sense. So I haven't even been worried about that for a while, for a few months.
You know what is important to take a look at is that awareness. She make a distinction between awareness and the content of awareness. That awareness is there is no evidence that awareness depends on a thought, or depends on the body, or depends on the world. There is no evidence that awareness is personal and limited. There is no evidence that awareness is personal.
I do agree with that, and yes, I agree with that.
Good. So if that is clear, then the task is very simple. that whenever a certain experience arises to you that is inviting you to take the stand as a personal self, then do not take that step.
And yeah, I think that's even the best approach for me in general, is because I can very easily get tangled up in, you know, words and thoughts and rabbit holes.
Yes.
But sometimes what's best, what it does really, I thank you and many people in satsang for demonstrating this and showing this. It is just stepping back from it and just being. So yeah.
Yes, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not taking that step in the wrong direction. And you know you've taken the step in the wrong direction whenever you feel the unhappiness. So you have a secondary alarm system or the primary alarm system, which is the unhappiness. Do not tolerate unhappiness. Our being, our existence, our life, consciousness, awareness, whatever is about happiness, causeless happiness. So whenever you are stepping in a direction and there is unhappiness, that is a very good bell that's ringing for you, saying, Richard, okay, wait, Richard, stop. The mind may be telling you, no, damn, they did this to me, whatever. But that bell is what you have to listen to, not the habit, not the old train that's going, no, not that. So the inner sensitivity to the happiness, the peace and the happiness. Now, you will find that there are situations that will arise, for you that are irritating. They may be irritating just not because of any conditioning of yours. They may be irritating because it's irritating, like somebody playing loud music after 9 o'clock at night, whatever, you're resting. So this may arise in an occasion. And so then in this case, you have to see if you can take this opportunity as an opportunity rather than a problem, as an opportunity for you to explore. We don't know how, but you will know how, whichever way you explore, how to be with that, of course, temporary experience that validates your experience as awareness.
Everything is a teacher.
Yes. Yeah. Very beautiful attitude you will find that is, then we're not a victim.
Thank you so much, Magdi.
Okay, Richard. Nice talking with you.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Any questions?
Hey, Magdi, it's Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Hi. I wasn't going to ask a question today because I spoke yesterday and I feel like I'm taking somebody's time, but I'm going to try to be brief just in case anybody else wants to ask a question. Anyway, And it's sort of in keeping with the theme tonight. We're talking about consciousness versus the personal self. That doesn't even exist, right? The personal self. Yesterday, you said something that piqued my interest, and that was that consciousness is neither good nor bad. So when we're talking about the body mind doing quote unquote good things, or being good or being bad, quote unquote, just like you guys were just saying, you and Richard were talking about identity. So the identity, because I think I'm still caught up in that identity of, like the dual identity of good and evil, or good and bad, or let's say, I don't usually use that word evil, but good and bad. So I'm trying to use that I'm trying to look at what you said yesterday regarding consciousness not being either good or bad, because it's non-dual. Mm-hmm. So that does make sense from that perspective. But how does that translate to practical daily living? Going about as a body mind, you do have to make decisions that bring that idea of good and bad into focus. How do you live in a practical sense, knowing that or having an idea that our true self, consciousness, does not know good and bad. It is not good and bad. It's not dual that way.
Yes.
Can you make sense of what I asked?
Yes. Yes.
Thanks.
Obviously, when I say that, in God's kingdom, there is no good and bad, this doesn't mean that go ahead and do whatever you want to do. You feel like being belligerent or being taking other people's property or behaving in, I don't mean that as a free pass for anything goes. And yet, yes, in God's kingdom, anything goes. Because there is no personal doer. Everything that is being done is God's dream appearing to you. So in the absolute sense, there are no criminals. There are no good guys and bad guys. Because you don't choose your thoughts. And you don't choose your actions, because your actions, they are the result of your thoughts. Even you don't choose your thoughts, therefore you don't choose your actions. So there is no guilty and no innocent. That isn't doesn't apply. Now, having said that, there are codes, there are ways in which we live, there are ethical ways in which we live. And you find that ethics, they arose initially from the wisdom of the sages, that upon the understanding of consciousness, there is a sharing that our true nature is about love and beauty and freedom and compassion and respect and fairness for everybody, that everybody is that and is entitled to that. And then the religions, they came in and they made the commandments and they made their rules, And over the cultures, the commandments and the rules, they were appropriate to the culture. The commandments, although the roots of the commandments was the awakened mind, the commandments and the rules of ethics were developed by society. They were not developed by the sages. They were developed by society. religious society and then political societies that applied laws. So the laws, the rules that govern the people, the whole world of ethics, right and wrong, which is a derivative from the religious commandments, which is a derivative from the understanding about consciousness, all of that applies. So in our understanding about consciousness, it is understanding about a true nature, about the reality of consciousness and the qualities of consciousness, which are wholeness, oneness, meaning love, freedom, and beauty and happiness for all. Now, to the degree to which we are wrapped up into my sense of me, to that degree, we are under the influence of ignorance. The more we are bound by the belief that I am me and you're you, and I take care of my own and you take care of your own, and what matters is me, my life, my feelings, my popularity, etc. The more I am in that bubble, the less love, compassion, honor and respect and fairness, the less love there is in my life and in my actions. So this is why we have laws. We have, if people act in certain ways that are hurtful for the others, we're going to lock them up. That's how it works. But in terms of your question, the more you become free from the belief that you are a limited self, you become therefore free from the sense of lack. You become free from the negative emotions. To that extent, your life effortlessly, maybe with a little bit of effort, but initially, but it lines itself up. Your life will line itself with a harmonious way. And this is where the magic in your life starts to appear. That while in ignorance we believe that I am the doer and I've got to make it happen, we realize that, oh my goodness, it is all happening without my doing anything. The bounty, the peace, the friendship, the happiness, the success, and the beauty, it starts to magically unfold in your life.
So Magdi, so does that mean that, so what you said yesterday, that consciousness does not know, I don't know how you put it. Did you say good and bad, or doesn't know the difference between good and bad, or doesn't know good and bad? So that you say that, because then you say that, and I hear a lot of other people say this too, that consciousness is all good. It's a happiness, it's fulfillment, it's completeness, it's all of it, all good, basically, right? So it's all good.
But
So
with that,
okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I was saying with that opposite, the opposition of the opposite of good and bad, that belongs to the human mind. It's good for me if I can get it. It's bad if he gets it. So good and bad is, but in consciousness, it's all good.
It's all good. Okay.
When he gets
so
it,
there is it's not, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
When he gets it and she doesn't get it, it's good. When she gets it and he doesn't get it, it's good. When she gets it and he gets it, it's good. When she doesn't get it and he doesn't get it, it's all good. In consciousness, it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
But it can't be good when something. It can't be good when something like in the world of duality, there's murder, there's there's happiness, and there's great misery.
Yes.
So is consciousness that doesn't go along with consciousness, the bad side of it. So, but yes, but is it like consciousness just accepts it? How does that work?
Well, obviously, it's accepted. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't accepted. In other words, the fact that it happens means it's accepted. Now, why do we rob? Why do we steal? Because there is a thought that arises to us. The thought arises to us, oh my God, he's got more than me. The heck with him. I'm going to go at night and break into their house and steal their jewelry. So this is the sense of separation that leads to these sorts of action. But when you are feeling, you're not experiencing the sense of lack. Your neighbor has a beautiful Maserati. You're happy for them, and you have an old Toyota or a Honda, whatever it is. Which are perfect cars, not a problem. You're okay with what you have. You're not going to break into the neighbor's house to steal their jewelry, because you're not experiencing the sense of me and him. You're happy period. Now, yes, consciousness is okay with all of it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. But also, consciousness is inviting you, and in a way, it's inviting everybody. But some people hear it. They hear the whisper, and others don't. It's inviting you towards happiness. It's telling you, hey, Frank, I've got a deal for you. The deal is called happiness, causeless happiness. And this is the way to it. So you hear it, you become interested in it, you start to explore that message, and you find that, okay, yeah, things changing in your life. Now, of course, if you look in the world, there are volcanic eruptions that may happen, and suddenly, and they may be gigantic and may kill a lot of people and a lot of animals and a lot of trees and plants, get incinerated. Of course, it happens, and it's okay with consciousness, absolutely. Now, as under the impression of ignorance, meaning under the belief in a physical reality, that there is a physical reality, not the reality of consciousness, but a physical reality, we are abhorred. Oh my God, what sort of a freak is God, What sort of a freak is consciousness to create murderers and murdered and all of that, wars and all of this. And the way to understand that may be helpful is to consider that you are giving a reality you're creating an objective reality. The mind creates an objective reality and says, oh my God, how awful. So it's like you have the white light that hits a prism. When it hits a prism, it creates images of people killing each other. And you look at these images and you experiencing that this is actually what's happening. This is reality. And you're abhorred. How could God create these people killing each other? But in fact, it's just a white light diffracting through a prism. The belief in a physical reality is something that we need to look into in order to understand, to come to the answer of your question, Frank. Reality belongs to consciousness. In your experience right now, that which is real is consciousness. It is not that which appears to you. One moment. Yes. What appears to you appears and disappears. It doesn't even within not even a nanosecond. The perception you had a second ago, or the sensation you had a second ago, appears and disappears like a lightning, like a ladybug, the light of a ladybug. But that which doesn't appear and disappear is awareness, consciousness. That's a fact. That's our direct experience. That awareness is our direct experience. That which does not come and go. So obviously, if we assume reality is the flickering light of the firefly, we are imagining a reality that appears and disappears. Reality doesn't appear and disappear. Reality is. And we know that to be consciousness and awareness. This may help you. The distinction between reality and mind is an important topic for you to reflect upon it. A good metaphor for that is the dream state. In your night dream, you experience a lot of dreams. Some may be awful and some may be very sweet, but you experience, quotes unquote, good and bad in your dreams. But when you wake up, you realize that all of that was illusion. That there was actually no good and bad, because as you, the dreamer, nothing's happening. In fact, nothing's happening. So I do not mean to say that, okay, the world, body, minds are not real, therefore do whatever you want to do. No, that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that the world, body, mind, the reality of the world, body, mind is consciousness. So you need to contemplate the reality of your experience, not just your experience, the reality of your experience. Upon the understanding of the reality of your experience, what is revealed to you is the absolute good, which I refer to as the peace of being, the transparency of being, the causeless happiness. And that will free you from the belief that you are a personal self and that you have to protect and defend your turf.
So when the body mind starts asking all these questions about good and evil, just let that go and just keep going back to the peaceful being, right? Our true self.
No.
Rest in that mind, rest in that peacefulness.
Yes, I mean, you know,
Is that a good way to
when you're confronted with a situation, Frank, always, as much as possible, apply yourself to take the path of consciousness. That what is the path, what is the decision, what is the action that benefits the most, that is good for the whole? What is the decision, the direction that I would take if everybody involved is my brother and sister, if more than my brother and sister, if they're, you know, my own being, you know, because sometimes we're awful with our brothers and sisters, and sometimes for a good reason, I don't know, but so it's not so much about some abstract good and bad. It is more about, in the moment, you look at the situation, and rather than just adopting the situation, that the direction, the action that is just good for your feeling, good for your pocketbook, good for your image, whatever, to adopt the decision that is good for the whole, that takes in account that we are all one consciousness. And the more you take that sort of decision, inspired by the understanding of universal consciousness, the more it will validate itself to you as being the right direction. And on the other hand, the more often you take the decision that is just about you, your tribe, your money, your religion, whatever, your personal self, the more it will validate itself to you that this is the wrong decision, the wrong path.
Okay, Magdi, thanks. You're breaking up because I'm driving, so I missed a lot of this. I missed some of this, not all of it, but I'm going to have to listen to it later to make more sense of it. But I appreciate the conversation. Appreciate it. Thanks, Magdi.
Sure, absolutely. The thing is that you don't know ahead of time what is good and what is bad. Sometimes it may be a good thing to throw somebody out of your house, you know. You don't know if somebody breaking in your house and causing harm to family, you're gonna throw them out, you know. So although in the abstract one could say, you know, punching somebody is a really bad thing to do, but that's abstract, you know. You may find yourself in a situation where punching somebody out is the right thing to do. We don't know. So to remain not knowing and in the moment that is presenting you, it's the situation that is presenting itself to you.
Yeah, I have seen, often seen, like for instance, a lot of certain groups of people from certain religions, when they try to live by the absolute, they become hypocrites because it's really hard to maintain that. So that's why sometimes when I hear people talk about, you know, living by absolute rules like that, I just know that it doesn't work for the best usually. But anyway, I don't want to get into a long conversation about that. But this is a work in progress for me. This whole idea of good and evil and the absolute and this and that. I'm still working on all this stuff, but it really helps to keep the conversation going for me.
Yes. Okay, that's good, Frank. Yes.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, I find that it's helpful to notice, you know, the tendencies that we have. And to question them, and to explore. Maybe we don't have to repeat this pattern. Also, sometimes we are holding on to something, I don't know, an image, a feeling, a belief, I don't know, we're holding on. And to take a look at this holding on, because to live holding on is not fluid, it's not, it's a little bit complicated. So to explore, wait a minute, you know, this is absolutely necessary to take a look at that. You know, sometimes We just picked up this habit from long ago, you know. To sort of tighten up, you know, sort of build some resistance within, contraction. And sometimes we're repeating also some old thoughts, you know. And just to take a look at, okay, there are patterns, you know, patterns of thoughts about me. It's very subtle, but you know, like they say, like a small grain of sand in your eye, it's very disturbing. And so there is no such thing as a subtle personal self, and it's all the same. It's all the same in that it's the same sense of separation. It's, to be transparent, sort of available as an absence, it's presence and absence. Because we have tried, you know, long enough, we've tried being somebody, being somebody, being somebody. It's exhausting. It's time to try something else.
Yeah, Magdi, I do agree that when I get away from that thinking, the idea that I'm that I have a little self inside this body here, that there's a little Frank somewhere, there's a Frank in either in my head or in my heart, and I let that whole thing go, and I go to awareness. It just gives me such peace.
Yes.
I love it, and that's why I keep going back to it. It's just there's nothing like it.
That's it. Yes, nothing like it. Yes, and it's, you know, when we are sort of undisturbed or at peace, whatever the word is, it's good for everybody. You know, it's good. It's you know, it affects, you know, our entire world anyway. Anyways, thank you all. Very lovely to be with you, George, Isaac. It's just Isaac and Desmond, the cat in a box there, Desmond. John, Richard, and Holger, Grace, hello Grace, hello Holly, Marga, hi Kelly, and Frank. Thank you all. Lovely to be with you.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you, Magdi.